Have you ever seen such a great looking bow? Okay, some of you may not be thinking that. Personally, I am. I think this is a great looking bow. This is the 2025 Prime Form, and it's something that we haven't seen before. Aluminum and carbon as a hybrid in the riser of the bow. Um, Prime did a great job this year. I'm going to talk about 3 bows for Prime this year: the Form, and then their 2 aluminum flagships, the RVX Plus 34 and the RVX Plus 32. But I want to start out with the Form because it is such a unique bow. We have aluminum down near where the limb pockets would attach. We have aluminum in the center where your grip, your rest, your sight, all that's going to mount. And then we've got carbon here that's going to give some stiffness and also take some weight out of the bow. And you can't tell from the video, but physically this is a lightweight bow. It's a 34-inch axle to axle. Our brace height is 6¼ inches, which is fits really good into the specs that I like for a hunting bow. But let's take a scale and see what we get for our physical weight. We do have, I'm getting 4.3 pounds. 4.3 pounds on a 34-inch axle to axle bow. That is with the brush rest on there. So we're going to be pushing that 4-pound mark, 4.1. So very light, but when I think light, a lot of times I think, okay, it's not going to hold very steady because it's going to be a lighter bow, or it's going to vibrate a lot. And I don't get either of those things. This is a very, very impressive bow from Prime. So a couple things I wanted to talk about here to get started. We'll start in the middle because I am a Prime dealer. I guess I should mention that. This past fall, I picked up Prime. I was looking to expand to some other brands, and Prime was one that really stood out to me. I get a lot of customers that have shot Prime throughout the years. I've always been intrigued by their bows going back. They had the dual cams, and now we've transferred into this core cam. This is the 3rd year of the core cam. It's been really, really good. I've been really impressed with it. So I'm excited to be a dealer for Prime and offering them in my store. They've just been really good to work with. G5 products as well. So I've got some of the G5 products. A lot of my customers have been shooting Prime over the years, and so I wanted to kind of continue that on here in the store and have a place locally for them to have a dealer to work with. So anyway, back to the Prime, to this Form. I'll start with the grip because that's in the center of the bow, or it is in the center of the bow, which is different from most bow brands. Most other bow companies are going to have your burger holes as your center of your bow, which puts a little bit more riser above the center. The center grip puts a little bit more riser below the center of the grip, puts a little bit more of that weight below the center of the grip, and it just makes for a lot more stable hold. It's going to feel a little bit different at first, probably, and that's why a 34-inch axle to axle works really well with this, because your string angle will be a little bit different as well. A 34 axle to axle bow is not going to feel quite as long in a Prime with that center grip. The other thing that I like about it as a hunter is I don't hunt out of tree stands a lot, but when I do, or out of a ground blind, or really any hunting situation, most of the time I'm focusing on what's overhead. If I'm in a blind, I don't want my bow too long to hit overhead. Or if I'm in a tree, I'm thinking about overhead branches, to where if I've got to take a shot, I don't want my bow running into those things. So having a 34-inch bow that's going to be stable, but still having that grip in the center, gives me less bow up above and less that I have to worry about overhead. So that's, for me, has been is a good deal with the Primes as well. We have double burger holes, but we also have, and it's difficult to see, but we do have an IMS mount where you can run an integrated rest on here if you like. We have standard sight mounting holes, but we also have a machined Picatinny mount for a sight on the front if you'd like to do that as well. We have front bar mount, and we also have a back bar mount down here low. Like I talked about, the carbon tubes, and I've got one here that they sent as a sample. And you can see the thickness of that. Very rigid, very, very strong. They've tested these over and over, and there's no concerns as far as the glue coming undone and this coming apart, or these carbon tubes breaking, or anything like that. Prime has been working on this design for several years, and they've put a lot of engineering and thought into this. and they come up with a great bow for this year. Some changes from last year. The big change, obviously, besides the riser, they went a little bit narrower in the limb pockets. And if you looked on the RVX series, the limb pocket was offset. It wasn't perfectly centered up. It's back to being centered up here, and a little bit slimmer than what was before. Just makes for a little bit sleeker bow, and I really like that. They've also changed the roller guard. They had the flexes for a long time, and now this is just a solid aluminum roller. My understanding is that after their testing, they found that the risers are so stiff that they don't need that flexible roller guard anymore. So this is the same on the RBX Plus as well. Same core cams, same limbs, same module system. So you have to have a draw length specific module. Your dealer should have those. I've got several of these for all different draw lengths. And they're also coming out with a speed mod here, should be here soon. I don't have them in stock, so this is just the standard mod when we test the speeds, but individual module for draw length, and then your draw stop. This is the standard draw stop that comes on all the modules, but when you buy a prime, your package will come with a slidable, adjustable draw stop. So you can fine tune the let off on the back end if you prefer. So you have the opportunity to do that yourself or your dealer, where you can adjust that let off to get the right feel at the back end of that draw cycle. They have the same tuning system, except for it's a little bit narrower now for 2025. So we've got shims that's going to go on either side of this axle, and real easy to take in and out. Dealers have a tool, or you can pull the axle and you can swap them in and out. It's a lot easier than the old plastic shims that still come on a lot of different bows, but they come with the bow. So that's a great feature here for shimming. You shim them one way or the other if you need to, and then they're there. You don't have to worry about them moving on you. Very solid. But like I said, the great thing is they come with the bow. And I'm not digging on Matthews. I work on a lot of Matthews bows, but a frustrating thing is they have the top hat system, and you have to purchase that separately. It's another $50 plus charge that you have to incur to be able to tune your bow, which I think is ridiculous. I feel like that should be a part of the bow. You have to tune it. You shouldn't have to pay extra to get the parts to tune your bow. Prime includes that in there as well. And then you can see here, possibly you can see the ends of these limb bolts, or the axle screws on the end, the axle screws on the end, top and bottom, are all flared like this. So if you go back to at least the RVX series, I know, came with kind of a washer that you could mount wherever you needed, top or bottom, on the outside of your axle for attaching a limb-driven rest, like a Hamskea. You could tie it to the bottom if you had a vapor trail or something like that. You'd want to tie it up to the top. And it gave you the option to tie that on the end of the limb versus using the sticky pad that would go on there. Now, the ends of these are all flared out where you can tie it without having to change anything out or having to use separate parts, which is really a cool feature. The only downside to that would be if you had to do some timing of that rest, where you needed to slide that activation cord forward or backward on the limb, and you'd still have to go back and use a sticky pad, which isn't a big deal. Those have been used for a long time. So lots of great features on this bow. I'm excited to shoot it. I am going to shoot the form and talk to the draw cycle. The draw cycle on this will be the same as on the RVX 32 and 34 because it's the same limbs, it's the same cam. I'm going to try to set them up as close to each other as possible. For my checking on my scale, we're going to be between about 60.8 and 61.2 pounds. So right around 61 pounds on the draw weight. That is another great thing I need to mention. And I'm thankful to Prime for this. Most every other manufacturer that I've worked with as a dealer only sends out 70-pound max draw weight bows because they're wanting to get the most speed out of those bows for people that are shooting them in the stores. And I understand that, but me as a dealer, I have some people that can't shoot those bows. I can back them down to 60 pounds, but I have some guys that are wanting to shoot 50, 52, 55 pounds, and they can't shoot those bows that I have here in the store. So Prime gave me the option, do I want 60-pound or 70-pound bows? And I said, send me 60-pound bows, because my guys that want to shoot 70, they can still shoot this. My guys that want to shoot 50, they can still shoot this as well. And you get a feel for the draw cycle. You get a feel for any vibration, string angle, and those types of things on a 60-pound bow just as well as you would a 70. And then if you want a 70 or 75 or 80-pound bow, those are things that we can look at ordering. But I like to have the 60-pound option in my store. That it just fits more people, and I wish that more bow manufacturers would do that. So let's go back in the lane and we'll shoot this. I'll shoot, like I said, all 3 bows, and we'll compare speed. I'm guessing they're going to be very close and very similar. Weights, physical weights will be a little bit different, and the feel may be a little bit different just based on the dimensions of the bow and the materials that go into the riser. But anyway, excited to have the primes. Let's go shoot these. Okay, so we're back here in the lane, ready to shoot the 2025 Prime Form. I'm going to just talk to the draw cycle a little bit and what it feels like to let down off the shot as well, because in a hunting situation, that's something that you're likely to encounter. I do have modules in this bow for 28-inch draw length, which is what fits me, and we're right about 61 pounds when we get to talking about speed through the chronograph. But this is just the setup that I like, and I feel like it's going to be something that most hunters are going to be shooting somewhere in that range. Most hunters aren't shooting 70 pounds and 30 inches. They're more going to be 65 pounds, 28 to 29 inches, somewhere in that range. Not everyone, obviously, but the average. So anyway, let's look at draw cycle. Very smooth. There is a very slight little hump at the back end. You can feel the let off, but the let off is not, it's not like such a deep valley where you have to push it for it to go forward, but it's also not so jumpy where it wants to jump out of your hand. So to me, it's in a really nice spot. It would be interesting to play with the draw stops and adjust that let off a little bit just to see how it feels differently. That little hump at the back is hardly even noticeable. It's very, very smooth all the way through, and there's just a little bit of a drop into a valley. I think as you shot that more and more, you wouldn't even notice that. But very smooth, very nice draw. Let's see how it, oh, and let down was real easy, as you can see as well, but let's see how this feels to shoot. Yeah, next time I draw it, I think I pull through it and I don't notice it near as much. String angle is very nice, and the first thing I notice is how well this bow holds. It just sits there. One maybe tiny little thud at the start, and then nothing, and that's a bare bow. So obviously, once I had this decked out with a sight and a stabilizer, maybe a little heavier rest even, I don't think I'd notice anything when I shot this. So very impressive shooting bow. It would be very comfortable for hunting. Let's see what we're getting for speeds. Again, I'm going to be shooting 61 pounds, 28 inches, and my arrow is about 410 grains. So basic average hunting setup. Let's see what speeds we're getting out of the Prime Form. One thing you may notice, this bow may sound a little bit loud, but I'm in an echoey room. You know, I've got OSB on the walls, I've got metal on the ceiling, so it's not, I don't have a way to test the noise. These bows don't sound any noisier than any other bow, I would say. But I think in this room, you're probably going to notice it sounding a little bit louder just because of it's a long, narrow hallway that I'm shooting in with, you know, it's just going to echo and have more sound to it. But see what we're getting for speed. Again, I'm 60 pounds, 61 pounds, 28 inches, 410 grains. .263.8, which that's good. Anytime I can be in that 260 plus, I'm pretty happy with that for my specs for a hunting arrow. So we'll shoot a couple more and see if we can get an average out of that, but that's a good start. Shot number 2. I could shoot this all day. It just draws so nice. 263.7, pretty consistent on our speeds there. All right, one more shot with the Form. We've been averaging right around 263, just almost 264. That time, 263.9. So very consistent. I had a 263.8, 0.7, and 0.9. So right around 264 feet per second at 61 pounds, 28 inches, and 410 grain arrow. It's not blazing super fast, but it's plenty fast for anything that I would want to do. I would have no problem taking this elk hunting, and I feel confident I could kill an elk at a decent distance with this bow for sure. So let's get out the RVX Plus 34 and 32. Talk about those a little bit, and we'll test the speeds on those as well. So this is the RVX Plus 34 inch. Like I said, very similar to the Form as far as 34 inch axle to axle. We're 6 1/4 inch on the brace height. We still have a Picatinny mount here on the front. We have the double burger holes, and we do have the same IMS breast mounting system. Basically, everything is the same except for we're solid aluminum. We don't have the carbon tubes. And the price difference is going to be about $400 less on this. So we're right around $1,600 for the Form. This is going to be right around $1,200 for the RVX Plus. So this depends on what you're wanting to use that bow for and what your budget is. Physical weight, I'm showing 4.6 with a rest. So still fairly light for a 34 inch bow. That's nice. I imagine the draw cycle is going to feel the same. And I'm guessing our speeds are going to be pretty close as well, but let's go back here and shoot it and find out. All right, we'll do a speed test here with the RVX Plus 34. Specs are the same as before, 28 inches, 61 pounds, and we're 410 grain arrow. We're looking right in that 263 to 264 feet per second. That's what we were getting with the Form. Draw cycle feels the same, 263.9. So yeah, right there where we were at before. Draw cycle feels the same. If anything, the bow might feel a little bit more dead. I didn't notice any vibration at all. It was kind of a very surprise on the shot. I didn't feel anything in my hand. So very nice bows. These cams to me are beefy. They're just a solid, heavy built cam. I feel like a lot of bows, they're shaving as much as they can off to get some speed. And these are obviously still, I feel like they've done that with this, but they're beefed up to where I wouldn't be afraid to take it into the mountains and busting around with it and worry about anything getting bent or damaged like that. And so very solid, very nice feeling bow. So speeds are the same. The draw cycle feels the same. String angle is going to feel the same because we're a 34 inch bow. Let's look at the 32 and see what the difference is with that. So this is the RVX Plus 32, just a little bit shorter bow, same cams, same everything else. We're just 2 inches shorter on the axle to axle length. Let's get a physical weight on this. And this is with the rest on it as well, showing 4.6. So basically the same as what we had on the RVX Plus 34. Our weights are the same, we're just a little bit shorter. It's a great looking bow. Let's shoot it and see. The string angle might be a little bit different, but I'm expecting everything else to be pretty well similar with what we've shot before. Okay, we're shooting RVX Plus 32, same specs, 28 inches, approximately 61 pounds, and 410 grain arrow. We were showing 263.9, so I've been right close to that 264 with both the Form and the RVX Plus 34. Draw cycle feels the same, very smooth. I don't notice a big deal on the string angle, maybe just slightly. At my 28 inch draw length, it wouldn't be an issue at all. Very dead on the shot. Little slower, I've got 262.8. I'm going to shoot one more, see if there's something weird there. or maybe I'm not getting quite as much draw weight out of this as I thought. We'll shoot one more and see what we get. Okay, shot number 2 with the Prime RVX Plus 32. Yeah, draws nice. You can just tell it feels a little bit more compact. .262.8. So I'm about a foot per second slower. And that can vary bow to bow as well. We're right there in that 263, 264. Still very good speeds for what I'd be looking for a hunting setup. Very nice bows. If you have a Prime dealer local, get down there and check them out. See what they're all about. If you're in this area, obviously I want you to come here, and I'd love to help you out. We've got all the modules. We can get you in and shoot these and see what you think. Try them out. Might be something that you'd be interested in for hunting with this year. They're great bows. Another thing about Prime I failed to mention is free strings for life. So on their flagship bows, we'll register the bow to you, and then every 2 years you can come in. We'll send in your serial number, and Prime will ship out a free set of strings. We'll swap them out. You pay the small fee it is to have those installed, and you get free strings from Prime for the life of that bow, which is a great feature. And there's no other bow companies that are doing that. I have a lot of guys that take advantage of that are bringing in Synergies and Logics and older bows from Prime that they're coming in with, and still using their warranty and their string warranty on those. So great deal. I guess I shouldn't say warranty. They call it the Shield system or something like that. But through the dealers, great deal from Prime. So anyway, enough rambling from me. Folks, if you get a chance, check out the website, coyotecreekarchery.com. I've got the online store on there. Throughout all this spring, you can save yourself a little bit of cash. So I'm offering free shipping on any orders over $50 in the online store. Just use Spring25, all one word, as your promo code to get free shipping on orders over $50. You can get you a hoodie like this. I still have some of these left. Do a little turnaround model for you. You can see what we've got going on. I've got t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and then basically everything else in the store that I'm allowed to sell online is on there as well. And we'll ship them right out to you as quick as we can. So hopefully this video was helpful. Prime's making great bows, and I'm excited to have them in my store. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.